Hi, welcome and thank you again for tuning in. In this lab, we're going to be configuring ASAv. We're going to be using ASDM for most part of this, and we're going to configure basic settings as well as a DHCP server. So without further ado, let's jump straight in and proceed. Okay, so I have my ASAv here, which is version 9.16, which is also an evaluation license, not a full license. So this is only for labs and for learning how the ASAv is, and for whenever you're pursuing your certifications, the Cisco certifications. So without further ado, let's jump straight into our ASAv here, and I've connected my gigabyte 0/0 to the cloud here, and this is gonna give us internet access. So let's proceed. So as a first step, I'm going to configure a host name. ASAv by default here that we have does not cover the password, so you just press enter. I'm going to say host name. It's going to be gateway dash firewall. Next up, I'm going to enable the password. Actually, if you want to get more options, you can still use the question mark. This is Cisco iOS Internet Operating System. So enable password. We're gonna use anything. We can say Cisco 123. And next up, we're gonna configure our interface IP address. And I'm gonna start with the LAN interface, which is a gigabyte 0/1. And I'm gonna say interface gigabyte 0/1. And I'm gonna say description LAN, and I'm gonna say name if I'm gonna say inside. I'm gonna give it an IP address, which is 10.1.100.125.255.255.0. I'm also gonna do a no shut to bring up the interface. Next up, I'm gonna configure gigabyte 0/0, which connects to our internet. So interface gigabyte 0/0 IP address DHCP. We're gonna get that from DHCP. So yeah, and then we're gonna say name if outside. We're also gonna do a description link to internet, simulated internet, more like. Then we're gonna say no shut to bring up the interface. Next up, I'm gonna configure we can first of all we can verify that we have our interface up and running. Show IP address. So we can see we have 0/0, which is connecting to our internet, and we gave it a DHCP. It was acquiring IP address through a DHCP, as you can see. And then our gigabyte 0/1, which is our inside network, which is 10.1.100.125.5.0, and of course it's still gonna show you current IP address over here. So next we're gonna set up our ASAv plans, and in order to do that, we're gonna first start with setting up a user who's gonna be using this appliance. Username admin, let's say password. Let's just use admin. Once that is done, we will need to allow HTTP access. So we're gonna say HTTP 10.1.100. Sorry. Before we do that, I'm gonna say HTTP server enable. And by default, it's going to enable it on port 443, which is going to be HTTPS. And then we're going to set up the IP range that's going to access our ASAv. So 10.1.100.0, 255.255.255.0, and then the interface, which is going to be the inside interface. Once that is done, we can then head over to our Windows 7 machine here. I've just named it as management. Then we can first start by giving it an IP address. Next, properties. Then we can give it an IP address 10.1.100.50. Sorry, 10.100.50. Sorry, my keyboard. 255.255.255.0 10.1.100.1. We can leave the DNS server at the moment, just like that, and then you can say okay. Can verify that we're able to ping our ASAv gateway, and then that should be cmd config. Okay, ping 10.1.100.1. Yes. So in order to access the ASDM, which is a Java application, we're gonna go to our browser, and then we're gonna access our ASAv. We enabled, remember we enabled HTTPS application at 10.1.100. Sorry, 10.1.100.1. We're gonna access that. Advanced, accept the security certificate. Now you can use here, you can see Cisco ASDM provides an intuitive graphical user interface that makes it easy to set up, configure, and manage your Cisco security appliances. So we're just going to click install ASDM. Gonna use admin, the user that we created inside our ASAv. So which was admin and admin. So we're gonna run that application. Gonna say yes, next, finish. Once installed, we can come here to our desktop. We can see we have the application here. So we're gonna say 10. Gonna put the IP of our .1 IP address of our device. Sorry, admin. Specified on device. Accept, continue. It's taking a while, but it should be. Oh, there we go. So now here we can manage our firewall through this graphical user interface, and from here we can configure every other thing else, including DHCP, VPNs. We can configure site to site. You can see we have a nice dashboard here. We have device information. Remember the host name we gave, gateway-firewall. Here is our IP addresses, the inside and outside. They're both up. And from there we can, let's try to configure a basic, you can launch a setup wizard here. that's gonna take you through uh, other basic configurations. We can just say launch wizard. It's taking a while, Okay, so modify existing. Yes, next. The gateway firewall is that. We can choose domain, labbingoverload.com. We can go to next. We have all that. Use DHCP, obtain default at 0/0. It's okay. Next. Enable traffic between more interface with the same security levels. You can make any other changes here. You can see it's quite easy rather than using the command line. You can set up a DHCP server here. Start IP address 10.1.100.100. That's our start IP address, and IP address 10.1.100.254, and then DNS server 1 8.8.8, DNS server 2 8.8.4.4. Can say yes, the value, you can say next. Translation, we don't need that. Next, we don't need the auto update. Finish. So now we can acquire a new IP address for our first of all, you can save the changes here to flash needed. You can do that. It's gonna save the changes. From now here we can say we can come and say network IPv4 properties. We can choose automatic, obtain automatic IP address, DNS server settings. Close, then close. And if we check right here, we can have, sorry. Now there we go. We've obtained a new DHCP, a new IP address through DHCP, and we can see it has given us DNS as well as other parameters. And that's it. That's how you set up a basic ASAv using ASDM, and you can always play around with this in a lab environment. And thank you for watching. Bye.